Are you ready to party? Let's go. Ashley Iverson, welcome to the podcast, girl.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And Sam, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, baby? I'm good.
We're here early because Sam wanted us to be. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Thanks, Sam.
I did, bro. You're welcome, Ashley. You're welcome. Okay, and you showed up looking good, as if you're always up at this time.
Oh, yeah, always.
I know. Did you see her shoes?
I mean, I do have kids.
Right.
I
did see your
know.
shoes.
You gotta give it to the parents like yourself who can still look amazing.
Yep.
And they have two kids they have to get up earlier for and get them ready. And she had to drop them off and come here.
And where'd you come from?
Like, dude, San Diego.
Right.
Bing!
Right.
Oh, but Ashley, thank you so much for being here. We've talked about doing this for a long, long time.
I know. I didn't think you'd ever come through.
I'm sorry. I know. It's
fine.
A lot of people don't understand too. Like, there's a lot of work behind this. A lot for scheduling and getting things done and making sure the crew's good and the team and all that. But it's all good.
Yep.
It's all good. Hey, so people know you and I met this month 4 years ago, which we talked about
4
earlier.
years ago.
I think it's kind of funny personally because I was hammered. I was very hammered.
know.
Yes, with my motorcycle club, fellow firefighters in Sacramento. That was the memorial, right? Which
Yeah, the SAC Memorial.
they're not doing it this year, right? Or did
Yeah,
they?
they did. They moved it to July this year.
Why did they move it?
I don't know why they moved the month, but I know that they moved the location because they had so many people because of the past 2 years that they had to postpone because of COVID and everything.
Oh.
So they have it in the convention center this year.
Did you go?
No.
Okay. God, I like where it was before.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I know.
We took over downtown.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, she was, it was later in the evening. The memorial was already done.
No,
And
it was the night before the memorial.
Oh, it was the night before? Oh,
Dang.
God, I'm such
Y'all didn't even make it.
That's fine. I was sober. You weren't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I
That's
was
how it is.
speaking the next day.
That's right. Okay, that's right. So I can't remember. I think it was an Irish pub, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, Irish pub. They got like the the
Those are the
sidewalk.
worst. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then you could sit out there and drink.
Yep.
Well, dude,
Oh,
I rode my motorcycle all the way up there with my dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been pounding it back all night. And then you see little Ashley, she's got like a microphone and a camera, and she's walking up. And I'll just be real, I'm out there yelling at people. I'm just being stupid, right? Just trying to make people laugh.
Cat calls. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Come over here.
And
Come in here.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing with this microphone, dude? And she's like, I'm Ashley Iverson. I'm filming this. I was like, oh my God. I'm thinking, okay, I got to stop acting a fool.
Right.
Please.
That's when I found out you had your foundation, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what is your foundation so we can let people know?
The Iverson Foundation for Active Awareness.
Okay. And that's for mental health, right?
Yeah, for first responders.
Okay. And did you start it that year?
Yep.
It was 2018.
18. Yep.
Okay. And how's that foundation going?
It's good. I'm very fortunate to have had a team of people that have been amazing through it and offering their services to people in need. A lot of financial support in order to be able to produce those things. And yeah, it's been pretty inspiring. I'm not going to lie, this year, I, for the first time, was like, maybe I could just like let it go and
man.
let it kind of just fall off.
Well, it's a lot of work, I would imagine.
Well, it's a lot of, I am already in the mental health community, I guess you could call it. I have struggled most of my life with self-worth, if you will. Okay. And it was just like, I began feeling kind of inauthentic being the face for this organization because I found myself in another black pit, if you will. Yeah. It was just like, fuck, I don't know if I can show up anymore for this and be what people expect me to be, I guess. And fortunately, I have a board member that I called in a panic and I told him that. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I can do this anymore. He's like, that's not an option. I'm like,
Right.
I'm all, okay, you literally feel like you're choking me right now.
Yeah.
I have to go, and I took time. I think that time is the most precious thing that we have on this plane that we know of life, right?
Very well said. Yeah, I agree.
And I did what I needed to do. I went out to Maui and had a wicked, weird experience out there that like wrapped me even deeper into this hole. I had 2 like polarizing experiences out there that was like straight magic on both sides of the spectrum. But it finally got me back to this place where I was struggling so much with the fear of, one, staying alive long enough for my kids to be okay if I'm not here, and or the fear of losing one or both of my kids. And I finally came to realize full circle that it's not up to me on either one of those possibilities.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of myself the best that I can, and I'm guiding these 2 little beings and that's it. Like if it's time, it's time. And I let myself get so scared in that state, that fear state, and I completely neglected the fact that God's in control.
Yeah.
It's not up to me.
Yeah.
And I have a blaring example right in my face that it's not all terrible
Yeah.
if somebody dies.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotcha.
it's
go.
Yep.
whew.
I love it. No.
Yep.
It's a really bizarre thing to say, but my life has transformed into a life that I've always wanted since Cory died.
Wow.
And it's like,
It's heavy.
yeah, it's fucked up to say that because obviously I still wish that my husband and best friend was here.
Yeah.
But I could have never come to the place that I am in loving myself and also loving this experience if he was still here, because
Yes.
I'd still be so wrapped up in my own bullshit, telling myself that I'm not enough, and like I'm a victim of my surroundings rather than the realization that this life is for me to enjoy and have a good time with. And I don't know.
Yes.
It's been
Yes.
a lot of fun.
Already got me already
Yes,
in tears. 'Cause
I
I'm
see,
thinking about
bro.
my life, but it's you said something really powerful, and we're going through those dark times, and we're gonna get into what you've been through, but I've experienced my own loss and different things. Everybody has their stuff, right? And I know I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about, because when you finally get on the other side of that tribulation or that trial, that difficult time where you just seem like, man, my world's over. This is it. I can't go on. I remember having days where I couldn't even get out of bed. Mm-hmm. You're just laying there. You're like, God, I wish a missile would just fall in this house and explode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'd be over. And then, like you said, time, right? Time starts to pass and you start to heal. And I go to therapy often. I struggle with a lot of things. And you look back and you're kind of like, damn, I grew a lot in that. Mm-hmm. Like things actually did get a little bit better. And it's not that you get over it. Mm-hmm. You learn to live with it. And then it kind of transforms you in a way because other people are going to go through what you've been through. That's life.
Right.
I mean, we have a start date and an end date. Mm-hmm. And in between there's a lot of shit that goes down.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
But that growth, and I call it forced growth, when something happens out of the blue in your life and it just wrecks you and you have no choice. There's nothing you can do. And you have nothing to do but go up that mountain and you have to climb it. And it's a bitch.
Right.
And you're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I remember telling myself that a few times. I'm not going to make it through this. This is too impossible. And for me, falling back on my faith, I would say, like I say this all the time in here, I don't attend church that much, but I know there's a God and there's a creator, and I definitely believe in him. And I've fallen back on that many times where like I had nothing left but to lay in bed and just pray. Like, please do something for me. Please help me, So what you said really resonates with me because it's hit home for me oftentimes. And I think a lot of times my therapist said this well, people will never know what you're truly feeling and struggling. Mm-hmm. They can say, hey, I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. Like things are going to get better. That's great. But they don't know the depths of your pain. Only you truly do. And sometimes it's overwhelming. And I can't believe like with yours, if we want to get into that, your husband, I'll let you kind of talk to you about it, but you were married to a firefighter. He worked for CAL FIRE, and he was on a fire up in Santa Barbara or Ventura. I'm trying to remember.
Well, it was Ventura County.
Ventura County?
Yeah, it was the Thomas fire
Okay.
that was in December of 2017.
Okay, and I'll let you tell a story, but he ended up getting killed in that fire, right?
Yeah, my sweet Cory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been... I can't imagine you getting that phone call. What was probably going through your mind?
Honestly, it wasn't a phone call. It was in person.
Oh, they showed up to your door.
No, it was a really bizarre, like everything that has transpired since he was gone has been so eerie and like mystical and magical. And I wouldn't change a single thing that has happened since he died. But that morning, it was his grandfather's 80th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was dying of cancer. And just 2 days before, I called Cory while he was at the Thomas fire, and I said, hey, you need to call Grandpa. I don't think he's going to make it till Christmas.
Wow.
And ironically as well, I tried to FaceTime Cory in between the time that he was killed and before they were able to get him off the hill.
Wow.
And shortly after that, I got our daughter Evie together to go meet up with his aunt and uncle and grandmother and grandfather to take Grandpa out on a little boat in Lake San Marcos for his birthday. And I gave his aunt a call on the way, and I said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. She's like, great, we're just getting Grandpa down to the boat. So in 10 minutes, CAL FIRE found Cory's uncle because he was retired CAL FIRE. And Steven is his name. Steven's immediate superior was dubbed the wonderful task of notifying the family, right? And so they went around like the wrong protocol. Normally you tell the spouse first. The spouse is who is notified before anyone else.
Right.
But it was because of the direct connection with Steven, he decided to get to Steven. I think it was also because he was like right there. I don't know why and how it all transpired, but Nick decided to physically get to Steven to then find me, not knowing that I was on my way to meet up with Steven. So in between that 10 minutes of me driving the rest of the way there, Nick got there, notified Steven. So I got out of my car and I pulled up and saw Grandma's car, Lori's car, and a CAL FIRE car. And it was interesting that I even like thought twice about the CAL FIRE rig being there. I thought like, that's kind of weird. Like, I wonder if Steven borrowed a rig to tow Grandpa around for his birthday, something like that. Like it was a cognitive thought of why that car was there, but never, not a chance would I have thought, oh, my husband's dead and they're coming to find me, you know?
Yeah.
So I got out of the car and I had Evie in one hand and I had the birthday cake in the other hand. And I went around my car to the left and I saw Steven come around my car on the right. And the look on his face, I said to him, did Grandpa just die? Because like you guys have seen the look. There's a death look.
Oh yeah. It's unmistakable.
Yeah. It like... So I knew that somebody had just died, but again, still didn't comprehend that it could be my husband, especially because it was so early in the morning. At this point, it was 11:30 in the morning. And in my mind's eye, like if there's going to be some sort of accident, it would have been like overnight or something. I don't know. I just didn't think it was possible, especially also because Cory was complaining a couple days before that he was playing in the black and he hated being mop-up crew and was just like pissed, like, I'm back here.
I understand that.
Just hating it. And so it wasn't like an option. So then he told me, and it was just like, still, like, honestly, to this day, it doesn't like, I don't feel like I'm living that reality. Like the fact that my husband is dead is just, it doesn't feel real still. Even though I know it's real, it just doesn't feel real because of how close our relationship is, and the things that I've seen over the past almost 5 years are just like mind blowing. It's like he's my little like puppet master up there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, babe, I need this. And he's like, all right, there you go.
Right.
So he's like my direct link to God now.
Oh my gosh. So when that happened, you found out, I mean, the shock that you had to go through, and processing that. I mean, how do you even process that, right? When you get married and you're planning to spend your life with somebody, and then it's just immediately taken away. You know, I can't imagine the emotions that flooded into you and what that did to you. And you were pregnant at the time, correct?
Yeah, I was pregnant. I was halfway pregnant with our second little girl. So there were a couple like obvious thoughts that came through. The first, what was such a blessing, to be honest, because the first thought that came through was who else was hurt. Because I was thinking about the hotshot crew out in Yarnell, you know, with 19 of them gone. I thought to myself, fuck, like I hope to God that no one else is experiencing this right now. And I was able to ask Tony Meacham that question, who else was hurt? And when he told me no, I was given the gift of gratitude within minutes of finding out that my husband was dead. And I know for a fact that gratitude just changed the whole course of my entire experience. And then finances came into mind, you know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're establishing your life with somebody. You have kids, home, cars.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm pregnant with my second kid and I'm about to do it by myself. Like the fuck?
Yeah.
What? And that was like my only like real like panic place, because being raised, my father, money is his fear point, right? And so I adopted that as a mentality that
my dad was the same way.
There's never enough,
and it carries.
Never enough, you know. And I'm just like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna end up on the streets now. Like that's it. It's all over. It's all over. But I another, you know, just gifts just flooded in, and that was one of the pieces that was part of my experience, that money wasn't a thing. And I also feel like that happened because before he was killed, I finally started releasing the grip of fear of money.
Interesting.
And that shifted my experience going forward.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't even. So when you found out, I mean, what from that time to, you know, when he was finally interned, I mean, did they allow you to even see his body, or were they like, no, you can't see, you don't want to see this? Or?
Yeah, and I was very frustrated with that.
Did you have the choice?
They didn't give me a choice.
Oh wow,
interesting.
Well, I mean, you guys, we have to kind of think of this realistically.
You probably wouldn't want to.
He was stuck on the mountain in the fire for like a half an hour.
I don't think that's the last thing you want to see of him, you know?
Right. And so I said to him, because I'm speaking to what is that called? The morgue? Fucking worst place on the planet.
I know.
That was legitimately the worst day when we went to pick up his body. But I said to him, I'm like, I need to like verify this. Like I need to like see him, and it just wasn't even an option for anyone. However, there was something really special that happened as well. I mean, how much time do we have on this? Because I could share so many magical things that happened. So they didn't give me an option to see his body. Okay, which I'm grateful for. in hindsight, I didn't need to, but at the same time, like this experience is just kind of like Cory just like disappeared off the face of the planet for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay, he was there the night before. I saw him on FaceTime and then he's just like poof, gone. You know, the individual that recovered his body, that found his body, Cory had a tattoo on the inside of his right wrist that said saved. He grew up in a questionable part of town where a lot of his friends went down really dark paths. And he was very grateful to have chosen a different path. And he had this tattoo on the inside of his wrist. And the individual that found him saw that on his wrist.
Wow.
And started praying over him immediately, which is just so interesting that for how long he was in there, paired with Cory would roll up his sleeves, which was against,
I know. Yeah.
you're supposed to protect it all. So the exposed part of his body was the body that was the part that was preserved.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
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 Girl,
It's wild.
I can't. I'm thinking. Just I don't know how I'd even process that.
I don't think I'll ever really fully process.
Do you think you're still grieving?
Well, I don't think you ever really stop grieving.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm obviously much different than I was 4.5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Right.
In a much different mental state. Like it no longer like consumes my every day-to-day functioning. Obviously, because I have 2 of his children, it is right in front of me at all times. The fact that the father of my children and my husband is dead. It's just, I can't.
It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Being in your shoes,
literally is.
It would almost be like, this isn't happening.
Yeah,
There's no way that
absolutely.
this is happening right now.
Absolutely.
This is the most tragic thing. And it's happened to me. This can't be. You're in denial.
Absolutely.
And then the
just
days
is.
keep going, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
They
oh,
keep
shit,
adding
this
up.
is fucking real.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I've been so blessed with so many magical experiences since that it has just, it's like, he watched me struggle so much before he died. And there was a time, I think it was the last time he was home, to be honest. I wrapped myself into a panic attack of, again, not being enough. I needed to be making more money. I needed to be busier with my career. I needed to be more blah, 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 blah. And I watched him watching me. And it was if in that moment he knew that he could not fix me here.
You said you watched him watching you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I was like sitting backwards on the toilet, hyperventilating, like crying so hard you can't see out of your eyes anymore. And I turned around and looked up at him, and he was standing there just like helpless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we always had this like unspoken relationship. Cory was he was the type of person that just jabbered, like it would just be talking so fast that it was almost as if like it didn't even really matter that I was there, because he just would be able to carry on his own conversation.
Was that for you?
I mean, it's whatever. But there was this connection where, like, let's say we were at a party, something like that. I would be able to look at him from across the room, and he would know that I needed something. Mm-hmm.
That's a connection.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
And so it's almost like now with him where he is,
Yeah.
he's so much more powerful to help me
Yeah.
than he ever was here. He always, like, it was the most aggravating response that I would receive from him. I'll make it up to you.
Of course. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Aren't
Bitch,
men,
please. I just want you home. I want to go on vacation. Like, no.
aren't men interesting creatures?
Oh my God.
We are. Yep.
You can't make up for lost time. But I'll be damned. He has for sure made it up to me.
Yeah. What was your strength that got you through all that, even to now? What carried you? Is it faith? Is it your family? Is it what internally did you find? Because I think a lot of people in that situation could find themselves giving up or going down a dark road.
Yeah, it was him. There was so many things, but first and foremost, it was him. And I just wanted to continue to show up for him. I wanted to make him proud. I wanted to overcome the seemingly impossible. It was just this knowing that I had to show up. I had to keep going. And then paired with the external factors of so many people leaning in and being there.
The support system.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure the fire, even from the fire, right? Fire, family, friends, but I'm sure fire stepped up big time.
Oh, absolutely. It's endless, the amount of support that came inside the fire department, outside the fire department. People that I would have never known had this not happened are now some of the closest people to my heart. Yeah, and so it's both, that metaphysical side of things and then the physical side. The polarities of life have become so obvious to me since he's died that now it's just a matter of balancing the two. Because you can get so fucked up on one side of the spectrum or even just bouncing back and forth from each polarity that for a long time was just like, I feel like I'm fucking crazy. I'll probably never end up with somebody else because I've made it public that like I struggle, right? And then I am struggling so much with balancing the two that it like I felt like I was losing my mind.
Yeah. That I can it's hard because it's like you say, those players, right? You're dealing with like, you feel one way, but then immediately you can feel another way.
Absolutely.
And you're feeling like you're being ripped to both sides.
Yeah.
I have been married once, I didn't lose, my wife didn't die, whatever, divorced, but, I lost a brother when I was 17, he was 18 in a car accident. And I remember from the point that he died and the sheriffs came and notified us to when he was buried was such a blur.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't focus, and it felt like time kind of stopped. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
And it was like I think that was a 6 or 7 day period. And I regret going to the morgue and seeing his body. That was a huge mistake. Because he was messed up. Unfortunately, the car had rolled over him. So you can imagine what that probably looked like. And
so like you looked at his face.
Saw everything.
Oh.
He was crushed. So now that's my last memory. And I tell people, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I should have let that memory of him be.
Yeah.
Because it was trauma. I'm 17 years old.
No.
You're not ready to see that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
But I remember it really hit me the day of the burial. As soon as I remember them lowering the ground and I got home, it was just like, boom. All these emotions hit like, he's never coming back.
Yeah.
It's so permanent.
Yeah.
It's so permanent. And it's not, we don't try to take people for granted, but we do. We get stuck in our routines in life. I got to go to work and I got to achieve this and I got to go to school and do that. And you truly don't know when it's going to be the last time you see somebody. Yeah. And when you think about it, it gets pretty heavy. And for me, I've had my own life and death experiences, which I've talked to you about. But gosh, time is something you brought up that is so spot on of what you said. And that's one thing that everyone's fighting for. Right? Everyone's always thinking, well, I'm trying to get rich and money and this and that. That's because it buys you time. You don't have to go work for someone anymore. You got money, you can do whatever you want. And it made me start to realize, let's say the last 4 or 5 years, where am I putting my time? Where am I putting my time that I know things are going to last into eternity, right? I could pick up overtime, more businesses, jobs, do different things. I can't take any of that money with me, none of these possessions, my house, cars, none of that. What you take with you is your family, your loved ones. And that's one thing I regret in my past is I put too much time into things and work. And I've had friends who have unfortunately taken their lives or been lost in accidents, and you have that regret. Like, I should have hung out with them that one day when they asked to hang out. Or I should have told that person, hey man, like, let me buy lunch today, or even say, I love you. Because you truly don't know when it's going to be the last time you see them. And it's so powerful when I started thinking that way. So you start kind of shifting, and maybe it comes with age. I don't know, but it comes with life experience as well. And because I can't, thinking about what you said, I think you saw him the morning before, right?
Yeah, the night right before. Yeah, we were
right?
FaceTiming.
FaceTiming, or even the FaceTime, and then the last time you saw him, you never think that's going to be the last time you see your spouse. You guys are young, you're starting a family, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Gosh, and I can't even begin to tell you just the emotions that come in, because my last thing I said to my brother was, dude, you suck. That's the last thing I said to him. Because he didn't help me do some homework. He was going out, driving friends out to Joshua Tree, and that's where the accident happened, And thinking like the importance of what I tell people that I love, what I say to them, respecting them, not putting them down, lifting them up, the value of the human soul. Because when the person's gone, they're gone. And I think a lot of times we forget that, and it's not that we're trying to do it on purpose, so we get caught up in life, and gosh, I can't imagine today, everything on the day of the funeral. How was that for you? Because that's, it's a lot. It's a firefighter funeral. You got a lot of people who are supporting you. How was that for you?
Well, kind of like what you were just saying, it was like those 9 days were just like this floating period, It was just like an out of body experience kind of thing. And I feel as though what got me through those 9 days from when it happened to the memorial service was I wasn't the only one where time was standing still. There were so many people, because it was such a public and known incident, that I had the comfort of so many people in the same position. It wasn't their spouse, but it was their colleague. It was the person that they looked up to. The fact that he held himself to such a standard that his colleagues were just like, fuck. Like if it could happen to him, like for sure it could happen to me. And why hasn't it happened to me?
Yeah.
And so there were spouses and just like people I never had met that were just shook, and so it was more of just like when I was just notified that it happened, I'm like, all right, well, I'm driving up to Ventura. I'm going to go get him. Like I had a job to do. It was just like, okay, I got to go get him. I got to get this service done. I got to, it turned into more of just like a procedure. Like I kind of adopted his mentality. This morning when I got here, Tim very kindly made me some coffee and he tried to poison me with his creamer.
I'm so sorry.
It came out in like the most massive chunk into my coffee. And so I decided not to be poisoned this morning.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, when it came out, I was like, that is so embarrassing. I was like, I'm thinking like, I got the house smells good, making coffee.
I know, it was very pretty.
Like, hey, you want some coffee? Try to make it comfortable, and it just bloop.
And she was like, what is this?
Yeah. I was like,
so because this happened, he's like, all right, well, we're just gonna have it black. I don't drink black coffee. I like coffee with a lot of cream.
Oh, so you like coffee
you.
with the creamer?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like it looking like you.
Not
And,
like me.
Yeah. So then I'm going on this side of the spectrum today.
Black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful, baby. You know it, baby.
The only other day that I have drank black coffee was the day that we brought him home.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Because Cory would only drink black mud coffee.
My guy, dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fucking guy.
Attaboy, Cory.
Yes, right.
Looking up to you, baby.
That's right, baby. Yes.
So, cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Cory. I like
Yes.
that right here. Very
Cheers.
good. Very good.
There it is.
Gosh, well, since then, from that time, I mean, now you still have to be a mother. You still, you have your own family. You still got to be a daughter. You still you still have to move on with life.
Yeah.
How has that been for you? Where, like, the struggles and the triumphs, like, how has that led you to this point in your foundation?
Okay, so the foundation is what it is because of the enlightenment that I had a month before Cory was killed. One of his colleagues died by suicide, and Cory was sent to backfill for him.
Oh, wow.
So it was in that moment that there was this awakening in our family. Both I saw with Cory of how severely mental health can change everything in a moment. And for me, being like, oh, wait a minute. I never once comprehended what first responders are experiencing every day. To me, it was like an out of sight, out of mind thing. I was so fucked in my own mind that I couldn't even think about him other than him just flying around in a helicopter and playing with chainsaws. Like, it was just like,
Sound like my mom.
it's fine. Everything's fine.
I think it's all fun and glamorous.
Yeah.
Like, this shit
But
sucks.
I think that's all of us, though. Like, as civilians, like, we just don't think about it. So, I mean, you might have been fucked in the mind, but I think we're all I think it's an ignorance thing.
Yeah.
Well, so it wasn't
ignorance is bliss kind of situation,
exactly,
right? I don't want to think about the fact that, like, you just went on a call for a little baby and you weren't able to save him. Like, no, I'm not trying to think about, like, pieces of a person's body sprayed all over. What? Like, I can't even, like, go there because for me, it just, like,
right.
I'm just, like, grasping at air, just trying to get out of that mindset. Like, I can't watch fucked up movies or read book. Like, it's just not, I just can't handle that kind of thing. And so for me, it was just like this awakening of, like, first responders are going to people's worst days every single day. And then a month later, Cory was killed. And for a long time, I didn't have an understanding if his colleagues watched him burn alive or, like, what they experienced. And so I had my own grieving to do at another time. Right after he was killed, I was only thinking about his colleagues and the ones that loved him. And so part of the things that I struggled with, which I've kind of touched on this morning, was feeling like I wasn't doing enough and I needed to do something greater than just one person at a time as a hair and makap artist. You're like an unlicensed therapist doing that kind of work,
gosh,
right?
Yeah. When I get my haircut, yeah, you go. You tell them everything.
right.
Immediately, instantly.
Right.
But I just always felt like I wasn't doing enough. And it became so clear so quickly that that's why I'm here, is to remind first responders, this community, his brothers and sisters, and the people that loved him so much, that they're not alone, that the darkness doesn't have to control you. It's not the end. And so it was within days. We were driving up to Ventura to go get him. And I said to Tony Meacham, the chief of San Diego, this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, slow down, little girl. Like, maybe you should think about the families and do something for the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm going straight to the source.
It's almost like you were prepared.
Absolutely.
Because of,
yeah,
his
was
friends.
like game time.
Right.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I had my baby first and, did the mom things.
Yeah.
And started the foundation not for the money factor, but honestly to be taken more seriously.
Okay.
I wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be taken seriously. Yeah. That, like, I'm not just here as a grieving widow. I'm here because I get it. I understand what it's like to struggle so much. And so in the beginning, because of Cory's because of how well known his incident was, money did come in. And it did feel very successful in the first couple of years. I went and spoke publicly over 30 times in the first 2 years.
So you're like traveling across the country doing that? Or is it mainly in California?
It was mainly California.
Okay.
All over the state. But I was doing, I had some virtual things that were in different countries and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Interviews and that kind of things. And then COVID hit.
Oh, God.
And like I had been told in the beginning, it's going to get quiet. I don't think anybody could ever predict COVID quiet.
Right.
Right. And I locked myself and my girls in our house for 7.5 weeks. And it was like the first time that it all came back, like that darkness and that depression. Like I didn't feel depressed in the first 2 years. I had all this external praise telling me how strong I was and all these things, these facades that made me feel like I was healed, like I was all better. And then it was finally like, oh, fuck, like, who am I? Mm-hmm. Who am I? Like, what is the point of all of this? If I'm not in front of a bunch of people, motivating them and, producing in the foundation and doing all these like things that make people feel like I'm worth something or make myself feel like I'm worth something. And it was, again, the greatest gift because I had to look myself in the mirror and realize that my value, my worth is not dependent on what I'm doing. It's who I am.
Well said.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
Very good. Very good.
So it was just this conscious, again, showing up for not the people outside of me, but for showing up for myself. Yeah. So I can show up for my girls. I can see in my oldest that I was telling you earlier, she's a lot like me. And it's kind of scary because I don't want her to struggle.
I got you.
See
a reflection of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And I'm just like, God, please, like, please help me have a strong relationship with this little girl and help her realize how important she is, no matter what she does, no matter what she looks like, no matter how smart she is. And I really sunk my teeth into showing up for me so I could learn who I was to be the best version of myself so I could then be better for the people around me. COVID and losing Cory have been the best things that could have ever happened to me.
That's powerful.
Yep.
That's a very powerful statement.
Yep.
I think a lot of people in your shoes probably, I don't know, maybe it's 50-50. Maybe they would say that, maybe they wouldn't. I know people who have lost loved ones and they are bitter.
For sure.
They're angry.
For sure.
And I could see where you can go down that route.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, life is choice and perspective. Period.
Oh, girl, you're spitting some
Right,
knowledge
right,
today, man.
Yes.
I'm going to climb a mountain right now.
Right, bro. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Without me, though. He's too scared to hang out with me.
No. We're going to do the triathlon. I swear. We're going to do the triathlon. I promise. No, but it sounds like you had a lot of, I guess it's self-growth, but a lot of almost self-awareness.
Yeah.
Coming of self, right?
Right.
Like not just from the external stuff, I should say, but internally, right? You looked within. And I think that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
That's really tough because you're really dealing with you.
Right.
You're locked in your home. Now you're dealing with who you are, your issues, what happened, your children. And like you said, that can be a huge flood that can either turn out to be good or it could turn out to be bad.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But I mean, all I can say is you're such a huge inspiration for a lot of people.
Thank you.
It's amazing that you have the perspective that you have and the positivity and starting your foundation and it's been encouraging for me ever since you met my drunk ass on a street in Sacramento.
Oh, I fell in love with you the moment I saw you. I'm like, oh, this sexy fireman. Okay, let's see. Okay.
I was a mess, dude. I was such a friggin' mess. No, but it's how can people get in touch with your foundation, donate, if they need help? How do they do that?
Getting in touch with me, I would say that the easiest way is to contact me on the Instagram account, Iverson FAA.
Okay.
And
So it's at Iverson FAA?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The website is the same URL, iversonfaa.org. And that's the best place where you can donate. And let's talk for a second about where the donations are going to.
That's very good. Yes, please.
So all of the donations are going directly back to first responders.
Oh, love it. Very good.
No one receives money for this foundation running, other than the people who are producing specific services for the first responders. Okay. So what we have going right now is we've got some yoga therapists that are offering 12 weeks compensated completely to first responders, 6 weeks for their immediate family, so spouses and or children. And they work directly with the first responder. They can do it either on the job or at home. So the best way to kind of do that is getting a first responder to sign up, doing it at work. So then more people are benefiting from it as well. And it can be virtual and or in person. San Diego or Ventura County are the in-person locations right now. And then we also have been working with an organization called Resounding Joy. It's a music therapy organization.
Is that okay? So do they? Maybe I could be wrong here. Do they do? Is it EMDR type music or no? Or is it something different?
I didn't know that there is an EMDR music situation.
EDMR. Hold on. Let me look at my phone here. It's supposed to be because I actually started listening to it. It actually helps a lot. Gosh, maybe I said it wrong. Let's see here. EMDR music. Yeah. There's EMDR music, and what it does, like I have a whole playlist of it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's no lyrics. It's just composition.
Yeah.
But it goes from one side to. It feels like it's going through your brain. It's amazing.
Oh, that's what that's called. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's therapeutic. It kind of goes back and forth.
Yep.
Dude, it mellows me out so hard.
That's amazing. EMDR is a modality that I feel really works. You know, there are so many different modalities out there, and that is an awareness that I had very on in this work.
Okay.
Is, I thought, okay, we're going to start this foundation and we're going to make fire stations and first responder communities sit down and decompress at every shift, like an AA meeting, right? And then it became very clear to me very quickly that talk therapy doesn't work for everyone. Not every modality and not every type of therapy is going to work for each person. And so what we kind of do is offer these alternative modalities in order to get you started, to get you thinking, and to get you to realize how many different options there are out there. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, but it's so wonderful.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
You're helping people get past struggles and help them enrich their lives.
They're doing it themselves.
Yeah, but
honestly.
You're providing the platform, right? I mean, you got to take credit where credit's due. You gotta say, come on, you got to take credit where credit's due.
It's not me. I'm just a vessel.
I got you. Well, I'll tell you what, great vessel. Right. You're doing great. Okay, so with that music though, what's the music that you're talking about?
Okay, so we had we had a pilot program go out, which was in San Diego in person before COVID happened. That was very successful. We had first responders on duty come in and do this music therapy course once a week for 6 weeks, and that was amazing. But music therapy is a lot harder of a sell than yoga is. And I think it's because yoga, you're not forced to talk. And I think that a lot of first responders, being a male-driven population, and just the mentality that kind of comes with men, is talking about your feelings is not the most exciting thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, and so yoga is a lot less resistant and has a lot more buy-in, because all you got to do is show up and work through the movements and the breath. Music therapy does have an element of talking. And so it's so much more difficult to get people to even want to experience it. And so with that knowledge going through the past couple of years working with them, we currently designed a course that is all virtual. So it's running right now, which you can still sign up for because we're in our first month. And how we did it is we've got 3 videos that release each week to get you thinking about awareness, mindfulness, self-care, okay, and get you to practice through those first 3 weeks. And then the last Saturday a month, when they've got a virtual meeting to stay accountable and talk about the experience you've had. And that's going to run for 3 months. We'll take a break, and then we have a whole new course that will come out and do another 3 months.
So you mentioned it was very successful. How do you measure success when this is not something that, like, speaking and like, it's not something that, you know, a lot of men do? How did you measure success in that time?
I measure success based off of the feedback that I'm getting, right? You know, and hearing men and women come back and say that I'm feeling better and this got me thinking. That's where I'm measuring the success. And it did have the other side of that as well. And again, it's not every modality is going to work for every person. And I think also it had some people didn't have how can I say this? It's not that they didn't have a good experience. It's that they probably wouldn't have come back to it had they not been told, here, you're at work, you're going to this.
Right.
You know?
You put them in a place they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yep.
You kind of have to. Firemen are very stubborn.
Yeah.
Definitely don't like to talk about the feelings.
Right.
Hate the way things are, but don't want change.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good to do that.
Yeah.
And I've helped other firefighters I've worked with, like, dude, you need to call this number.
Right.
You're going through a lot in your private life, and it's taking a toll on you. And even this job is taking a toll on you. Let's just talk to somebody. That's what someone did for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, it used to seem so weird to talk about mental health and saying, you know what, I need help.
Right.
Because you want to be the macho guy at work. I'm a firefighter. I'm strong. You know, we can do anything. Like, reality is, you know, it's these calls and these things that we go through and see. It's not normal.
Right.
You know, it'll take a toll on you. And we had a previous guest on, Rick Van Tile, really cool guy, and he's big in supporting mental health too and raising money. He's a retired firefighter, but he went to one of these conventions, and he was saying one of the firefighters spoke, and I believe he was there for I couldn't remember. What was the bombing? Took out one of a building. There's kids in it. It was way in the 90s. Gosh darn it, I can't remember. Anyways.
The one in Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah,
That's what
okay.
it was. And they talked to one of the firefighters. Yeah. And he went up there and talked about, like, what he went through. And he said it wasn't the big incident that got him. Mm-hmm. And he was famous because he was in this picture holding this little kid that he carried out. Mm-hmm. He said it wasn't that incident. It was the little one that got me. It was the little ones that stacked up over time. And then finally it just broke. Mm. You know, and I hope more of our brothers and sisters speak up. We actually are in such huge support of what you're doing. Because I see a benefit behind it. You can only take so much. You can only see so much. Yeah. I mean, not just at work, but in your private life. Yeah. And you got to be able to say, you know what? I can't do this. And that's why I'm a big proponent of talking about her. I get therapy. I go once a week. I talk to somebody, and it's helped me tremendously. It's like, okay, so me having these feelings isn't wrong. It's okay to speak up and have emotions and to cry as a grown man. You need to. Those are God-given emotions inside of you that you need to work out, that your heart being overwhelmed and needs to flood out. Let those tears flow. It's healing. Brings healing, you know? Right. And I didn't know that. And that's maybe because we're all in the same generation, right? But, you know, as far as for me being raised as a young boy, my dad was Green Beret, tough, you know, just be strong. Men provide and go to work. And you come home and that's it. You don't show your emotions, you know? And so you're talking, you do this for all your adult life into your 30s. And it's like, you know, something's wrong here. I feel like I'm about to snap. Something's not right.
Well, and you just said it too. It's the act of letting it out, right? That's what all this mindfulness practice and, you know, self-care is about, is getting what's locked into your brain out.
Yeah.
Right. And you see physical ailments come into play when you're not releasing what's inside.
Oh my God, so true.
You know, so if it's not the mental implications that are happening, it's physical implications, and people, you know, they're retiring and they're dying right after because of heart attacks and, you know, all the physical implications that your body is internalizing from all the trauma that you've experienced.
Right.
Yeah. Now, have they talked about too the importance of getting outside and being physical, as far as getting sun on you, going for a walk, hike, surfing, I don't know, go golf with friends, but like getting your body moving and getting out?
So briefly, yes. The answer is yes. And I kind of touched on with you my experience during COVID and how I just dove headfirst into self-care and taking care of myself, right? Something happened in that time that shifted everything for me. And what I do with the foundation now is when I go and speak publicly, I tell a bit of my story, and then I'm giving people something to think about here. Okay, so you know the 5 elements, the 5 earth elements: air, earth, water, space, and fire, right? Turn that into the elements of awareness. Okay, so when you think about air, think about your breath. I think that our breath is our most powerful, unintentional bodily function that we have control over.
Right.
Okay. And how powerful your breath can be on your mental state and releasing what's locked up inside. Okay. So I talk about different breath work that you can do. Think of earth as your movement. We think about, like, especially with first responders, about running a marathon and doing like heavy duty exercise type stuff. But it can be as simple as taking your shoes and socks off and going outside and putting your feet in the ground for 10 minutes and walking for 10 minutes. It can be stretching and being in that conscious movement for at least 10 minutes. That's another thing that I hear first responders complain about is, great, mindfulness sounds great. You know, I'd love to do it, but I'm stuck at work. I don't have time.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Oh, call them out, girl. I love it.
It's straight bullshit.
Yep.
Like 10 minutes can change your entire day.
Yep.
Okay. So breathing, movement, water. When you think about water, and you know how important it is to internalize it, but what about the external use of water? It's another resource, the precious resource that we have every single day that we're taking for granted. When you think about going to the ocean, lake, river, you just stand in front of it and your mental stressors start to melt off of you. Okay. You're using water every single day, and you can use it in that same capacity when you're cleansing your physical body. Use it to cleanse your emotional body as well.
Right.
I love it.
You know, I can't tell you how much healing has happened for me in my shower. And it's a sacred space to release. Again, you think of Tony Robbins, right? Mm-hmm. Arguably one of the most powerful, successful men in the world.
Yeah.
he does an ice bath each morning. And I think that he does that because when you're in an ice bath, you cannot think about anything else than the present.
Yes, I have done an ice bath twice, and the only thing I could think about is how freezing cold my goodies were.
Right?
Yep.
Sorry not to throw you off. That's why I can't do it anymore. I remember sitting there, I was like, my testicles are going to fucking break off right now.
They're
I can't
gone.
do this.
Yeah,
I
they're
can't fucking
sucked
do
in,
this.
bro.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Like, so good on Tony Robbins. Good on Tony Robbins.
Right,
but I'm
bro.
like, because there's another girl, she talks about that, like taking ice bath. I'm like, you ain't got no, like, you ain't got what I got, man.
Okay,
It's
so
hard.
do the opposition. Make your shower as hot as it can go.
Well, okay.
Because it's going to
Steam it
have
out.
the same effect.
Okay.
Mindfulness and all the things, one, to get you release and also bring you back to present. When you think about it, when you're in a bad mental state, you're either festering on what was and you can't change, or what could be, right? You're not thinking about what is right now. Even when you're in the worst case scenario, if you just take a moment to settle into self in that present moment, you're actually okay.
Isn't that how we always are existing? Like in one of those dichotomies?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
We don't exist like now, until we're given something that where we need to.
Yeah, that shocks you into right now.
Yes, right.
And this is part of that practice, is getting yourself to more frequently be in the present.
Yes.
People talk about like taking your time, drinking your coffee, or any of it. Anything that you're doing, if you focus more on what is, then you're going to be a lot healthier. Space, think of space as your meditation, right? The space between your thoughts. That's where I think that the most growth comes. That's when you can really learn who you are, who your higher self is, who the higher being is when you take the time to calm your mind, to quiet your mind. Okay, I have too much going on. I can't meditate. Another bullshit. Like, and then I don't have time to meditate. You have 10 minutes before you go to sleep every single night. I don't know what else to tell you.
That's usually when I do it.
Yeah.
It's that I
One,
have
it
this
helps you fall asleep.
Oh yeah,
too.
I have a full. I didn't believe in routines.
Yeah.
Of going to bed, and now I do.
Yeah.
Totally do.
Absolutely.
It helps you just ease so much stress, and your body starts to come down, and like everything's blacked out curtains.
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
Yep.
So, my God, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And then fire is correlating with what sets your soul on fire. Where's your faith? What is it that makes you you, and what makes you the best you? And for me, and I think for everyone, even the ones that push it away, love is everything. So when you can function in love, you can't go wrong. You just have to let go of the fear of it.
Tough one, man. Wow, Sam. God, dang it.
Yep.
Way to call me out right now.
No, she pointed straight.
Way to call me out.
Timothy.
You'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. No, you bring excuse me. One that really touches me and that always gets me very emotional is water. You talked about. In the good and bad in my personal life, I grew up surfing.
Yeah.
And I'm always drawn to the ocean. My father taught me that. And I've talked about it on here how he always taught me like the ocean is the great equalizer. Everyone goes to it for a different thing, but comes back feeling the same.
Yeah.
He's like, respect it, love it, get out there, ride those waves. But he's like, this is where people go to become central again. It didn't dawn on me until I started being an adult and going through my own things, and how in a lot of great times, I'll go down there and hang out, feet in the sand, like you said, and just watch the waves, feel the wind, see people having a good time. You'll see others standing there, staring out in the space, like, oh, I wonder what they're going through. And there's been days of absolute turmoil in my life, and I felt like I had nowhere else to go but the ocean.
Yeah.
And gosh, what it does to you and how it does feel cleansing and how it brings you back. And it's like where you think you're in just so much despair and that you can't go on. And whatever it is about that water, you're just like, all right, I'm going to be okay.
It's almost like God in physical form.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of how expansive it is, how powerful it is, how incomprehensible it is, and brings you comfort, even in feeling so alone. Mm-hmm. That I was very intimidated by the ocean for most of my life in many different capacities, but I was intimidated in going and being alone there. Mm-hmm. And now I find comfort in being alone there.
Yeah.
Since the trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. It's why for me, I call ocean home.
Yeah.
I love being out there and surfing and body surfing or going for a swim or just sitting there and just take a breath.
I feel like it's home for a lot of first responders.
I agree with you on that one. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know a lot of first responders that surf, or at least, and it's funny because I'll go down and you'll see the stickers on the car.
Right.
You know, and you're like, dang, a lot of dudes down here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. All the boys, all the bros.
Yeah, there, but even the river, lake.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing, you know.
Right.
It really is. But,
water is very powerful.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. But gosh, moving forward with what you've been through and where you're at now and raising your kids, has it been a struggle trying to move on in a relationship with somebody else?
Oh, you want to go there?
Just wondering, because again, that's one of those things where it's, you know, you have to be in a situation to understand. You know, and I can't imagine being, of course, again in your position, be like, well, this is the person I love and they're gone, but
yeah,
I got to move on with my life.
Okay,
you know?
well, first of all, there, a lot of people ask about if there was like guilt or any of that kind of stuff. Well, Cory had this individual named Sancho that I would call when he was not home.
Sancho. Wow. Yep.
I was so fortunate to have Cory because the only thing that he wanted for me was for me to be happy.
I love it.
So if he could not satisfy that, I was allowed to call Sancho.
Nice. Yep.
So in terms of like the guilt factor, no, I never had that. And I've had more men than I can count at this point that have touched my heart since.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been anyone that is interested in more than just a physical level or even like just being there as a friend that actually wants to be a part of our lives.
Yeah, because it's you, your children, extended family. I mean, all of it, yeah.
So it's like there's men out there. There's, I guess you could call relationships, but nothing of any sort of commitment. And I mean, I guess I have to attribute it to myself. If I'm drawn to unavailable men, I guess I'm still in a place where I'm not available. I guess unintentionally. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I love love. I love men.
I was saying, ring that bell, bro.
Yeah, girl, that's good for you.
We'll keep it kosher.
Yeah. Yep.
Respectfully.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
But yeah, like I said, it's just.
I just wonder if that's like hard to move on. You know, does it feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet, or I don't want to let this part of my marriage go? It's a tough spot.
Well,
really is.
I mean, I think it's very obvious that whoever walks in has very large boots to fill.
Absolutely.
And so it's almost been an experience like they'll come in and they'll show me the very best version of themselves. And it's almost like Cory's like, okay, your time's done. Bye-bye now. Or something. I don't know. I
Isn't that dating though? You're like when you first meet somebody, you're dating their representative. They're gonna give you their 100%, their best.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Let's.
I'm not mad about that though.
Let's put the representative back. Let me see the real you.
Of course.
Let's
well,
get to the real.
I don't know though, bro. You know me. Like I'll cut straight.
You're very
in,
direct.
Like immediately. Like I don't fuck around.
Right.
So like
that could be intimidating for a lot of men. That can be very intimidating.
It can be, but I think it's necessary, man.
No fluff.
Let's just get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And then I like how you said, like, if you're looking at men that aren't available for you, then maybe you're not available.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I am a firm believer that I am a reflection of you. Right. And so what I'm putting off, you're going to give back to me. And so it is what it is. It's fun right now. Like, yeah, I would really love to like have that commitment factor. I'd love to see my girls with a father figure who wants to show up for them, who wants to be there with them. But that's my ego saying that that's what they need. That like life needs to look this particular way. Like my daughters need a father to grow up with and all the things. But again, it's perspective and like just having faith that they are receiving what they need. And same for myself.
Yeah.
I love love, but you can't force it.
Well, you brought up a good point too. And I think I've had a problem with this for a long time, but you're like, this is what it should be.
Yeah.
This is what maybe because culture or how we were raised, like I got to have this and I need to be here. And this is what my relationship's going to be like. I'm going to have 3.5 kids by 35 and boom, 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 boom. Right. And then it's like, well, your life works out so differently. Right. But then realizing like, you're really not in control.
Yeah.
Like it's going to work out how it's supposed to. And everything I've been through that's been good and bad, in the end, it's always worked out.
Right.
You look back, you're like, oh, damn. Like, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I met this person. I'm glad that person didn't date me. I'm glad I got this job. It's good this one didn't work out, And you look back and it's like, boy, that was a good, interesting learning point. Thank God that shit didn't happen.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But
Cory would say the exact same thing, that everything works out exactly as it's supposed to.
But it's so hard for me sometimes with that.
Sure.
My patience sometimes is not there.
Patience, perspective, and just enjoying what is in the moment, right? I've gone on so many trips since he's died alone. And I'm out there and I'm like, oh, like I wish that I just like had somebody laying next to me and like we could do the things together and blah, blah, However, traveling by yourself is a lot of fun.
It's gangster.
Like
it's
it's
gangster,
so
dude.
great because you meet so many more people. You have opportunity to meet people that you could wake up to, like,
Right.
Ring it. Yes. Yeah.
I've traveled alone a lot too. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
For me, I learned that, and people find it like odd. I'll tell them, I go to movies by myself. I surf alone. I skydive alone. There's a lot of things I'll do alone. I've traveled alone, and I love it. I've actually learned a lot more because you're not attached to people. It's not bad if you go with a spouse. I'm just saying that opportunity to do that will never come again.
Yep.
Yes.
You're gonna once today you'll find somebody, and then you're in it to win it. You made that commitment.
Right.
So why not go and do those things now?
Absolutely.
You learn so much
About yourself, right? When you're alone and you're doing things that you love to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's those things become a reflection of you, and then you see yourself in the thing that you're doing,
Right.
And it just bounces back and forth, and
Right.
it's just like it's a symphony, constantly. It's beautiful.
Again, it's just being grateful for where you are.
Right. Gratitude.
Allowing yourself to be where you are. Partnership is amazing. I loved being married. I was so proud of being married to Cory, but I'm also finally in a point in my life where I'm like, single's okay too.
Yeah. A lot. I'll tell you what, a lot less problems. A lot less drama, man.
It's okay too. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, we can do this.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, you're like, I don't got to answer to anybody, man.
Right.
Yeah, good luck. It's funny because I'm thinking, guys are, friends, people at work, whatever, your fire family, they're having more kids and doing all this stuff. I'm like, cool for you guys. I just bought my 12 surfboard, like whatever.
Yep. This
No
is my
problems
baby.
there.
Exactly. I'm doing just fine.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, but you've also talked about today that it's not about the physical things, it's about the people in your life. So it's
a give and take. It totally
it's a balance of all of it.
Yeah.
No, it is a really give and take. So one last time, if people want to donate to your foundation, you have an Instagram. What's the Instagram again?
Iverson FAA. As well as the website is www.iversonfaa.org.
Okay, and to be clear, so everyone knows, all that money goes to first responders.
Directly.
I love it. Giving it all back.
Beautiful.
Money.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Sam, can you pull some questions? Just pull a couple out, dude. Go for it. What do you got? Let's do two of them. Okay, so this is Answer the Internet. We always try to end these shows with just a little bit of laughter and whatever. So he'll ask a question. It's nothing. We won't do anything appropriate. You answer first, and then we go around. We answer. And we'll see what we got.
Who would win in a fight in their prime? Michael Keaton or John Bon Jovi?
Oh,
your face. Oh,
that's good. That's our. We know that's our generation.
Right.
What do you got? What do you think?
What do you got, Ash?
I don't know. I'm not a name person, so I'm just gonna say Michael Keaton.
Batman or
Michael Keaton? Do you want a picture of Michael Keaton?
Yeah. I was gonna say Michael Keaton too, but I mean John Bon Jovi he's a beast.
Oh wait, I met Michael Keaton.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is that's Michael Keaton right there.
Yeah, Batman for sure.
No, you guys really think Michael Keaton?
John Bon Jovi is dope.
Okay, bring up Bon Jovi.
Dude, okay, look, dude, dead or alive, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Bon. Look. I put Joby. Okay, look, there's him young, and there's him in his prime.
All right, let's pass that picture over here.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Really? Maybe it's because I like music.
He's fucking Batman.
John Bon Jovi,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
He was a terrible Batman.
Hey, but he's good.
The best Batman.
Oh, I don't know about the best Batman.
You think he's the best Batman?
I do.
Oh, okay.
One good reason. Is that because what you grew up with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Sam, who do you think is the best Batman?
Oh man.
What was the other one? The other one is close, but not.
Oh.
Ben Affleck. Don't say Ben.
No,
Affleck.
not Ben Affleck. What's his name? Yeah, he was. Well, he played it.
He played a Batman
once. Yeah. Who was the dude before
Christian Bale or
That's
Christian
the other
Bale?
one that
Yes.
I
I
would say.
think
It's close second.
I would say it's between Michael Keaton and Christian Bale.
Okay, so now
Okay,
you're.
George Clooney though. What do you think about George Clooney's Batman?
No.
Terrible.
No, terrible.
I never liked it.
Terrible.
Clooney is Batman?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I told you I'm not.
How about Ben Affleck? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Shout out to Ben for getting back with his ex.
Ben.
Huge mistake. I'm just kidding.
You would do it. Are you kidding me?
Oh man, they always come back.
Yep. He's speaking Spanish to her, bro.
Yeah,
He's like,
dude.
"Come here, baby."
Did you guys see the meme? There's a meme of Ben Affleck on a yacht, and he's hilarious. He's like in a sweater and jeans and stuff, right? He's got a drink and his phone, and his head's back, and he's completely knocked out.
Yeah.
And someone just made the meme like, "Can we just acknowledge Ben Affleck for we said winning at life, divorced Jennifer Lopez." Gone all those years, remarries her. Now he's on a yacht with her in the Cayman Islands, owning life.
Right. And she's
Give
been
the
with
man a hand.
Right. She's been with everybody, and he's back. He's like, "Yeah, I want you back. Come on." She's like, "Okay." Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
That, right. That sounds good to you.
Oh, you love. Stop rolling your eyes over there.
Love screws me over. I get jacked every time.
Vulnerability.
That's because
Yep.
you choose, questionable women.
All right, let's next card. If you could pick any character from TV or movies to be your college roommate, who would it be? TV or movies? College roommate.
College roommate. Ooh.
Can you go first?
I have a dumb one. Yeah.
Corey Matthews.
Bro, Corey Matthews is dope.
Boy Meets World, right?
Yep. Corey Matthews
Boy
is
Meets
dope.
World.
I don't know why. The first thing that came to my head was what's his name in Fight Club?
Tyler Durden. What? Seriously?
Yeah, dude, he whooped ass, bro. Yeah,
I mean,
and
true.
Then we just, it'd be, I don't know, it'd be fun. My college was just, it was boring, and I actually went to class. Yeah, it'd be something. It'd be an adventure. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I did college online, so whatever.
Exactly. Right, dude. We're old, man.
Okay, mine would be Gordon Ramsay.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can see you getting along with him though, because you're very direct, like he is.
He's very sweet. I love him.
Oh, you met him?
I did.
Oh,
No way.
dope.
Where'd you meet him at?
They did a special in 2018 for first responders.
Okay.
I was able to go out.
That's
Cory,
really cool.
Cory, I'm telling you, Cory has like.
God, you know what I do have a question about? Because it seems like you have your own faith. I think we all have family or friends who are in the next life. Do you think that our loved ones can see what we're doing?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I think.
And then again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it's like
No, it's fine.
These are things like sometimes I lay down in bed and I wonder if my brother can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like per se see from what we know as quote unquote seeing, but I think that energy doesn't stop just because this physical body is no longer there.
Got you.
I think that it's absolutely yes, because like, I don't know if you experience this with your brother or anything like that, but like electrical things being manipulated right after they're gone.
Wow.
Is absolutely real.
Right. Okay.
That happened to me multiple times after Cory was gone. And I don't see it as a fucking coincidence.
Right.
Like lights blatantly flickering in your face, or your TV turning on, your printer turning on and off.
So I believe these things are real.
Yeah.
I got something deep. Okay.
Oh, bring it.
Okay.
Bring
all
it.
right,
Go.
All right. So existence depends on our surroundings. So I exist because you know that I exist.
Right.
And then Tim knows that I exist, and everybody knows that I'm here. So that's why I'm here. So Cory exists in your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably already know where I'm going. So it's almost like we can keep that existence going, and it's almost like things that happen because they already have existed, even though they're like technically not here anymore, but they're still here. So it's almost like their energy still, like I'm still producing it, because it was once here and I have like interacted with them, so much or whatever.
So almost like a manifestation kind of situation.
Like an everlasting manifestation. Like
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
Yeah.
So something
Yeah.
like that. But I think what you're saying also, like weird things happen anyway.
Yeah. So manifestation, belief in
Right.
things, and just allowing it to be, things shut down when I stop believing
Right.
that he's there.
Exactly.
Right.
I was going to say almost something else when you guys were talking was, so seeing Cory, right, at the morgue, would that have shut things down? Would that have closed the door? Would that have said, okay, yes, he is gone. He's no
Yeah.
longer here.
Yeah.
But because you didn't see, it's just like, hey, but and on FaceTime, and then he was gone. It's like, no, he's not gone. Like you
Yeah.
said, he kind of always, he never really stopped existing.
Yeah.
To you.
I
like,
love that.
with the eyes.
I think that that's totally valid. There's so much unknown in this life that,
God, I know.
it's
Yep.
just, now it's just experience for me. It's just play, really. It's just like allowing the magic to unfold,
Right.
and allowing that belief that it can be, allowing the belief that Cory is sitting right next to Jesus being like, yo, bro,
Yo.
I need her to be taken care of, like, just let her have a good second half of her life,
Bro.
like,
Yep.
so, and then it takes me to show up for that and allow the things to happen and fucking enjoy it and have a good time with it.
Right.
But you guys are on some like Inception level shit, dude. Jeez.
Bro, I've been thinking like you guys were talking, I'm watching you, and like when you said the dark place that you were in, it's almost like every dark place has allowed you to get to a better place, and that the only reason you got there was the dark place.
Yeah.
Same with you.
Yeah.
You guys have these abysses, whatever, abyss plural, that you get into, and then you get out of it, and then you look back and you're like, damn, that was fucked up. But like, had I not gone through that, like COVID was a necessary evil, basically. Not a necessary evil, but because you went through it for those 7.5 weeks, you looked back and you were like, damn, that sucked, but wow.
Yeah.
Like you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, this is a different me.
Yeah.
It's almost like a renewed me. Like you had to go into an abyss to come out of somewhere to be, the better Ashley, the future of Ashley in the past.
And that was another amazing aspect of losing Cory is I no longer get so locked into that darkness and just like get absolutely consumed in a hopelessness aspect of it. Because at 19, I thought that suicide was a good option. It was the option.
Yeah.
And now I can mind fuck myself into the darkness with still having that knowing and awareness that I have the choice to come through it, and I will come through it. So it's just, again, the balance of allowing myself to sit in the darkness and knowing that it is there for a reason, and then also allowing myself to enjoy the good things that come in, and without mind fucking myself out of it, letting the men that have come in and share love with me and just like be in that moment, knowing that, okay, this probably won't turn into marriage and family and all the things that my ego wants, but just sitting in the moment of like, okay, I'm sharing love with someone who I would have never had the gift of being able to share love with if my life wasn't what it is right now.
Right. You're allowing yourself to be in that space.
Yeah.
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 I think that's necessary. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to crack you, Tim. Crack you.
Oh, man, I have some walls up.
They're coming down.
Jericho, baby.
I was saying, it was some Jericho motherfucker
Yeah,
walls.
man. Yep. Blowing trumpets,
my
homie.
God.
Yeah,
Don't
bring
be
him down.
afraid.
Yes, bring him down, baby.
No, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on this podcast and being
Yes.
so open with such a sensitive and tough subject and what you've been through. And it's amazing what you're doing for first responders and using what you went through for positive and for change. And I can't begin to tell you, from the day I met you, acting a fool in the streets and being drunk, to now, how much of an inspiration you've been to me personally, just through the things that I've been through. And looking at you sometimes, I'm like, you know what, she can do it, I can do it. And I can't begin to probably even tell you the amount of lives that you've touched through your organization and who you are, and being so open and honest with your pain and your joy and your suffering and your triumphs. You hit on so many huge things here about mental health, and speaking up and saying, hey, I'm not okay. And I think more men and women need to hear that. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be in a dark spot and say, I can't do this. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate and love you and your friendship. So thank you so much.
I love you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, Tim brings on people that I've never met, and I love it because we share. It's almost like the energy that he gets from you, he gives to me, and then I experience what that was. You know, he told me, he was like, be ready. This is going to be deep. I was like, bro, like, this is me. This is what I do. You know, like, this is how I think. And then, but I was like, damn, man, this is going to be, this
Well,
is
I honestly, actually, I never tell him who's coming on or what's happening. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a little heads up here, dude. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's an important like person to me and to a lot of people, and she's been through some shit.
Yeah.
So
And
we're
when
gonna
he
talk
said
about
that, when he said she's been through some shit, you know, I was like, oh, okay. That means that she's had to go to places that suck. And especially with, you know, the death of the closest person in your life, while all these other things are happening, you know, grandpa, and, you know, you're pregnant and you have a little girl that you're raising and your family, you know, you're just living life. And then, boom, you know, this happens. And, oh, this is just after you just talked to him, you know, and you weren't expecting any of this. And then to see what you've come out of on the other side. And it's not even, what I love is that it's not even the other side, you know, because the other side is, no, you're still in progress. You're still reaching the potential of what Ashley could be and what Ashley's two little girls can be. So yeah, I love like those stories, man. It just generates all this energy, this electricity. So yes, thank you. Thank you for coming on, Ashley. Of course.
It's amazing. I say we raise our glasses. We're gonna do this in memory of Cory Iverson. To the man, the myth, the legend, the husband and father that he was. Here's to you, Cory. Let's go on 3. 1,
Love you, baby.
2, 3. Let's go. Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is EIGHTNINEBAB, BARBRERS. 89barbers.com.
Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.